So, I wanted to talk about in today's TED Talk is how consistency is just practice for your reality that you're trying to call into yourself or call for yourself at this time. Like, everyone's always thinking, or how I thought consistency was this long, tiring, drawn out process where, like, in order to maintain what it is that I want, I have to constantly do what my higher self would do in the situation of having, like, the reality that I want. And when someone says, like, consistency, or tells you, like, you have to maintain consistency, you have to stay consistent, you have to continue to do this and continue to do that, I feel like it just makes it really, really strenuous when it comes to maintaining consistency, because it feels like a lot of work. And maintaining consistency is a lot of work. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of courage. You have to be able to, like, maintain what it is that you're calling in for yourself. And I'm not saying that you have to be consistent all the time, but it's just like, you can't, it's not necessarily you not taking breaks. It's just you realizing, okay, that now if I do take a break, I have to be able to show that discipline to get back up and get back into the routine. Like, so the way that I had to think about it when it came to consistency is like, it's just practice. It's me just practicing what it is that I want to show up in my reality. It's me practicing for what it is that I'm calling for myself in my reality. So it's like I really envision it like me practicing to be my higher self. It's literally what it is. Because I feel like for me, I have a business idea that I want to venture on. I have a career path that I see for myself, of me working for myself and me, progressing in life the way that I want to, in my own way, like being able to make money for myself. And it's just like, but you got to be consistent. You have to be consistent. You have to work. And it's like every time I hear the word consistent, it's just like, damn. Like, it's like the word consistent just makes it feels like consistency is so heavy. Like, that word for me is like, so just saying it is a fucking tongue twister. Like, consistency, you have to be consistent. And I feel like when people hear that word, it puts a lot of pressure on them. But it's like it puts a lot of pressure on you, because you have to maintain what it is that you want to do and keep working towards what it is that you want to do. Like, you have to get up and record that idea. You have to get up and edit it. If it's just you have to get up and post that content. You have to get up and continue to put yourself out there. And it's just like, being consistent is scary, but it's really just a shift in the perspective that I had to have when it came to me being consistent in what I wanted to do for myself. And the way I just changed it up in my mind is just me I'm really just practicing for what it is that I want. It's just like when you go, if you are in some people, I never did sports, but for those who are in sports, y'all get what I'm saying. Like, you practice for a sport so that when the tournament comes, or that when the event comes for you to demonstrate that you have put in the work consistently in order to be able to do this flip or run really fast or swim really well, whatever the sport is, that is literally consistency. It's you practicing, and especially if it's something that you want to do, it's you just practicing being what you want. So it's like, I feel like a whole lot of people put pressure on becoming your higher self. You have to do this to become your higher self. You have to maintain this to become your higher self. You have to be consistent to maintain your higher self. But I feel like, rather than saying that you have to be consistent, because for me, being consistent in my mind is like, you always have to do this. You always have to go this route, or do it this way, or like you have to be consistent in what it is you set out for yourself. For me, I just switched it up and said, I'm just practicing. So when I do go and I feel like I'm ready for this next step or our next phase, and I've been practicing for it, and I practice like staying consistent in what it is that I want to do. When it's time for me to go toward this event, I already know the answers. I already know the routine. I already know what it is that I want to do for myself, because I've practiced it. It's like studying for a test. It's like you practice test questions to know that you are, in your mind, you already know the answer. You're going to know the answer no matter how many times the question is formed in front of you. You are always going to know the answer because you've practiced it. You've practiced the math equation 4 different times. So it's like you've practiced building your content 4 different ways, or you've practiced recording what it is that you want 4 different ways, or you practice, making a product that you want to produce and to give out, like, multiple different ways. It's literally just practice. So I feel like some people just don't need to be so hard on themselves when they think they're ready for that next phase and it doesn't really go how they plan it, because it's like now you just simply know that the way I practice is not really helping me towards what it is that I want. So you just go and you scratch the whole thing, and then you figure out another routine for you that fits when it comes to you practicing being your higher self. That's really just it. Everyone here right now is just practicing to be the best version of themselves. And I feel like when we start putting the word consistency is the key to forming your reality, it is. But I feel like the word consistency is just putting so much pressure on people, and they're not able to see the different routes they can take in order to build this life for themselves. So it's just like the way I visioned it is just like I'm just practicing to be the higher version of myself. And I know that I can take breaks in this practice. I know that I can take pauses in this practice. I know that I can change the way that I've done this practice in order to fit what it is that I'm working towards right now. Because I feel like some people say that I've been consistent in doing it this one way. I've been consistent in working towards this one thing or working towards this one goal. But really, I feel like just easing it a little bit by calling it practice, it won't put so much pressure on people when they fail. When even though you've been consistent and the thing that you're wanting comes to you and you fumble it, it won't put this bad taste in your mouth to where it's like now you begin to self-doubt yourself, or now you begin to, feel grief and disappointment because even though you were consistent, you didn't either hold, get, or easily move towards what the next phase and stage of whatever it is that you're trying to call into your reality was. Because it's just like I said, it's just like practicing for a sport. It's just like you're literally in the tryout stage. Someone right now has been in the tryout stage of what it is that they want, and now that you've tried out and you understand, okay, this is my purpose. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. You've tried it. You went to tryouts. You've made it into the team. You've said, okay, this is what I want to do. This is for me. And now it's time to practice. And even in some sports, and even in some things when you practice a lot, there's not always a chance. There's not always a possibility that you're going to be the one that gets called on the team to get on the field. Like think of it as like a football. Literally, think of it. I don't even play sports, which is crazy. So it's crazy how I know this. But think of it as like football. Everyone on the football team goes and practices, but not everyone gets on that field. And that's not saying that you aren't qualified to be on the field. Hell, you're on the team. You've already tried it out. You're on the team. You're qualified to be on the field. It's just something else that the coach needs you to do. There's something else that God Source Universe needs you to do before we can put you out on that field. And if you're on a one-track mind, if you always are on this one practice plan or this one vision board or this one way of doing it, it's going to stagnate you. So it's just like thinking of yourself on this football team. Think about all the stuff that you want. You've already tried out. You're on the team. But I know that there's going to be times that I'm not going to get called on that field. There's some times that I think that I'm ready for this next phase and this step, and it's just like, no, we might need to come back and do some more practice on what it is. Maybe I need to do more practice on my communication skills. Maybe I need to do more practice on how I'm editing my videos. Maybe I need to do more practices of how I'm giving out these tarot readings, or practice how I want this product to be, or practice how it looks. And I just feel like the word consistency is so heavy on the community right now because it's used so heavily that people feel stuck. When they say consistent, that means you have to do this at this time, on this day, at this way. No, you're just practicing. Everyone is practicing right now to be the version of themselves, and I feel like there's this energy of just needing to understand that not everybody gonna get called on the field. And if you are not getting called on the field, that does not mean you've been kicked out of the team. Ashe. Just because you have not been called on the field doesn't mean you have not been. Just because you haven't been called on the field doesn't mean that you are not a part of the team. So just because you did not get that call back doesn't mean you're not qualified for that job. Just because you didn't get that brand deal doesn't mean you're not qualified for any brand deal. Just because you didn't get the partner or the relationship that you wanted doesn't mean you're not gonna get the relationship you want at all. It's that kind of mindset, and I feel like once we change up that way, like you're practicing. You can practice the relationship you want by practicing that love on yourself. You can practice for this job by by watching and doing. Like there's different ways to practice what it is that you want to call in for yourself, and I feel like just changing the word consistency to practice will be a lot easier for people to understand that even though I'm not called on the field doesn't mean I'm not qualified. Now, Shay.